Okay, let's see. Hopefully this works and we should be good. Um, okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. I think it's working. I see my levels being fine. So today we're going to talk about dumb phones, August 2024. We're going to get started on a couple of news and, a couple of extra things here and there. That will be interesting to you guys. There is a giveaway happening right now. So the link is in the comments or in the live chat right now. I'm going to add that link to the description so that you guys can find it. And of course, as always, I will be updating the timestamps. Right now, I'm going to do a little bit of timestamps. Intro and updates about what's coming up on my end, not necessarily on phones. And updates. Perfect. So yes, so essentially over the month of September, I'll be doing things a little bit differently. So you won't see me as much. I'll still have a live stream probably in the middle of the month because I'm going to be actually doing an experiment for a year where I'll be taking 10 days on and off. So essentially what's happening is like every 10 days, I'm going to be switching my engagement, right? So like 10 days, I'll be connected to the web and like, replying to messages and that kind of stuff. And then the 10 days after that, I won't be doing that. Let me adjust the volume a little bit more. So yes, so it's a little bit of a different methodology. I essentially came up with this idea that I want to spend half of my year offline doing things that are actually really interesting to me. And then 10 days I'll be spending, or like half of my year, I'll be spending it online. I think there's a sweet spot for me. It may not work for everybody, but it's kind of something that I'll be writing about and kind of like updating on the experiment side, how things work and that kind of stuff. Where is it? Oh, right here. So another thing I want to update you guys on is the Moving Offline newsletter has been released Q2. So all the articles I wrote for Q2, essentially, like you can read it there. I guess I can show it here. So it's a nicely laid out newsletter, and like I write about all the articles and kind of like talk about different things in here. There's also an exclusive article that only goes, kind of like into this newsletter. So if you're interested in purchasing it, you can go to my website and get it there. That's kind of like all the updates I have on my end, but that specific area of having, I guess I can show you guys what I'm going to be doing for email. So, like everybody else, I need email in my life for work, but I don't need it all the time. So I'll be getting this thing called the mail bug to kind of like relay information back and forth between people. So essentially it's a email device that you can load your configuration. It's usually used for older people, but for my purposes, it's going to work. The pricing is about $90 plus shipping, and then $15 per month. You don't have to put it on a subscription. You can just pay in advance though. I pay for like 6 months to kind of like test it out. And I'll definitely get a review of this thing. So it's kind of like a very nice small device. And I haven't gotten it. I'll probably be getting it sometime this week. But essentially the idea is you load this device with all the email capabilities that you need, like reading messages and replying to people. And it actually doesn't use the internet. It has to be attached to a landline. So let me see if I can find the FAQ. So there's no need. All it needs is a standard telephone line and an AC electrical outlet. So essentially you are able to receive email back and forth through a standard telephone line and an AC electrical outlet. So what I'm going to be doing is essentially just checking it in once or twice a day, and using this device to just read emails and be like, okay, hey, like you need this. Okay, here's where it is. Or like, oh, let me send that to you. Or can it wait? Or I'm going to try to set myself up way in advance so that I don't have any issues during the 10 days that I'm going to be offline. But if something arises, I still can contact and call or be like, hey, you can access this documentation or whatever through this system. So it's kind of like, something very different, something that is like, I'm kind of interested to see how it works out. It's going to be quite interesting to use a device that is definitely not intended for tech users. It's more like, okay, older users, but, it has a physical keyboard. And there's a video that, if you want to go check it out. But I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited to use it, to take a look into it. And, you can expect a review eventually in September once I have had an idea of like how it works. But yes, 10 days on, 10 days off is going to be kind of like my lifestyle for the next few years. So, well, at least for next year. And then I'll be talking about it in the channel soon. Thank you for the questions. We'll get to them. So now let's start with updates of devices that are currently in the market. So first device is the Kyocera Dura XV and XA. So I just did a review on the XA, and the Kyocera now has an excellent, very fast T9 engine. So if you're looking for the best, probably one of the best T9 engines out there, this is very, very good. So right here you can see it's already predicting, and when you touch the space key, it goes to the next word. So my name is Jose. It remembers that I said Jose in the past one. And I am, oh, nope. There you go. A person. I'll just say person. Person. There you go. And you can send this. You also have triple click, symbols, smileys, emoticons, or emojis, of different kind on the keyboard. So they definitely revamped a lot of how it works. And they actually have a video online that it shows essentially how they're doing this. And it's quite interesting, actually. I really liked, it's like essentially 3 times as fast as the previous implementation. I think I have updated all of my devices, so I don't have any device with a previous implementation. I'm going to try to see if this one with the Dura XA does have the previous one, so I'll turn it on and see if I can do a comparison. But very happy with the Kyocera Dura XV Plus Extreme. Very nice T9 engine, and I'm really, really glad that the company continues to showcase that they listen to the customers and that they're like, really, really into it. So yeah, super, super great. There is a new phone that I'll be getting. I'll be kind of like going over that in just a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find it, trying to see if I can show it to you. So some people have already had this device here in the United States, but I haven't. So I'll be doing a review of the Freetail Mode Retro 2, which is essentially a flip phone with a touchscreen. And yeah, I'm really excited to try this device. Here in the United States, it works with T-Mobile, but it has kind of like, extra accessibility. It has a touchscreen. So it's kind of like Cat S22, but like on steroids. So it's super cool that I'll be able to try that out. By the way, again, there's a giveaway, and I'll be giving away a lot of devices. There's a Kyocera Dura XV Extreme Plus, brand new, that they send me. And because I don't take free stuff from people unless they do it for giveaways, I'll be giving this one away. It's kind of like part of their tech bundle that they did this summer. So it's kind of super good. I personally like it. And again, it has that update that we were just talking about with the update on the T9. I'll probably be doing a full video if I still have an older version of the T9, just to kind of showcase how fast it is to type. And I mean, I personally think it's really fast. It's been quite nice. But it also has a lot of stability improvements and other updates that came with it. So really excited for the Kyocera, to see how to see how they continue making this a better device. And of course, they have their Japanese variants, and those are really sleek and very nice to use. iPhone 2 has some updates since last time, and there's some stability, some really nice things. I wanted to showcase the iPhone 3 update, which is kind of like their what's it called? Engineering validation test. So it's kind of like the next step in their process to release the iPhone 3. So that's an update. Let me go over and play this video. It doesn't have any audio, so I'm just going to maybe comment on it. So the video, I hope you guys can see it. Please let me know if you can't. Let me start it again. I wanted to know if you guys can see it. Can you please just let me know? If not, like, that's okay. But like, I just want to, let's see. There it is. Okay, so it is playing. Perfect. So my commentary is it's coming far along. I mean, you can see the way that it just kind of works, and like the scrolling is really smooth. It's really nice to see that the phone is getting better and better. So I mean, this is kind of like a demo only, so we still don't have a fully working prototype, but most of the kind of like software ideas, and they're looking into a couple of extra things, is looking great. So I personally think this is how, honestly, every company should just do everything, right? Like, like, hey, we're coming out with this phone, and this is the process, to kind of understand how things are working and why things are good or not good. This is kind of just, a tour of the device. It has USB-C. It has, the power button, and kind of like volume rockers and that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to continue seeing updates from the team. There's a full article that I won't dive into, but you can probably get it on the let me see, you probably can get it on the let me see, right here. I'll put the link on the chat. So let me see, chat, and it's super nice. So again, you can read more in-depth detail about how the iPhone 2 is coming into, or iPhone 3 is coming into life. They have like different samples, one with the bumper, without the bumper. I'm kind of partial to the bumper personally. I think it looks better, but that's just me. And again, more things, like you can go and read extra details, how they're doing it. Their design verification test is coming next, how the camera is going to work, software, etc., etc. And if you want to pre-order, you can pre-order in that page or through any of my links, that kind of stuff. We'll come back to more recent phones in just a second. So in a little bit, we'll be on more recent devices and kind of like what the progress is. So let me make sure that I jot this down on the iPhone 3. Probably we have 12 minutes, so let's start it at 10. Yeah, iPhone 2 and 3 updates. So to finalize the iPhone 3 update or iPhone 2 update is that it is now getting closer to its final certification with TELUS. There are some reports. I've gotten a lot of reports actually that it is already working with TELUS in Canada, but because it's not on the official status yet, I cannot, kind of like recommend you to buy it if you're in Canada and you're like, oh, I wanted to work with TELUS. I'm like, well, some people have claimed that yes, it works, and now it works more reliably. But if you're looking for a iPhone 2, you can get them pretty used now on probably around $200, $150 to $200. Maybe, some people are still getting $250 for them because, it's a great device and has held its value for the past 5 years. But if you're looking for, something specific with the iPhone 2, for Canada, coming with the TELUS certification very soon. Okay, cool. One more update is Sunbeam made another update for their Sunbeam line of devices. So this is at 14 minutes. So this should take nothing. It looks like 2 minutes or something. 14 minutes. Sunbeam Updates. So Sunbeam Wireless, great company. I always like, to talk about them because they have great support, and like they're always updating, but they came with an update about a week and a half ago. So if you go to your updates on this device, you should be able to see that. So make sure to check it. I don't know if I haven't checked since then. Yeah, so it's checking for updates. Last checked was earlier today. No updates available. Yeah, so last week they did a different update. You can optimize your apps, and that kind of stuff to make sure that the phone is continually to run well. But again, they did an update very recently where they fixed a lot of bugs. So make sure that you go check it out. This is one of my favorite devices just because it has pretty much everything. It has, without distractions. So it doesn't have a browser, but it has Waze. It has, text messaging, voice to text, a lot of the features that make quality of life with a dumb phone just a little bit better. It's just something that I personally enjoy. So that's updates on that. Let's go over upcoming phones and where are on the status. So let me put that at 16 minutes. Upcoming phones. And then actually let's do a Q&A first. So let's do Q&A first, Q&A number 1. And then we'll go over the phones. So like the phones that are happening. So make sure to put your questions. If you haven't, I see just a few right now, but again, if you have any extras, yeah, we'll go over that. Okay. First question. Hello, Jose. What's your opinion on using an old dumb phone? Considering a Nokia Asha with a QWERTY keyboard, my cellular or your provider still supports Edge 3G. Is it secure? Secure. SMS has never been secure. So if you're thinking about that, like if somebody could exploit information from you via SMS, your carrier is already exploiting information from you via SMS. The government can, in that sense, hack your phone and get all of the information. So if you have concerns, if you're sharing any information that is extremely sensitive, I wouldn't do it via SMS. So if you're sharing a password or if you're sharing, the address of somebody that you love and very sensitive data about them via text message, I wouldn't do that. You're referring to a Nokia Asha, probably like a 210 or 302. I think those were kind of like the old ones. Yeah, so this one right here, a Nokia Asha 210. A very nice phone, very useful. I would essentially treat it as just kind of like, hey, this is a device I want to use. It's SMS based. I just talk with my friends, have regular conversations, nothing super sensitive. Now, if you want to exchange information that is actually sensitive, again, like passwords or bank account data or that stuff, and you need to exchange it with somebody, do not do it via SMS. That's just my recommendation because there are bad actors in different locations and everywhere. And if you're personally somebody that's going to be exposed to that kind of stuff, then I wouldn't do it personally. So that's just kind of like my 2 cents when it comes to that. So don't exchange very sensitive information. But besides that, if you have the ability to use an older dumb phone, yeah, use it. I mean, they're great. They still work. It used to have WhatsApp. I don't think it works anymore, the WhatsApp application on that. But yeah, the Nokia Asha system used to be very good. It has, a couple of extra niceties here and there. But if you still have 2G coverage, I think it's going to be a good option. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next one is Sebi. Have one question. Do you think Punkt will continue supporting the MP02? Do you think the Light phone will be more worth it, considering that the Light company are not going to give up on it? Okay, so yes. So Punkt is still alive. The Punkt MP02, that is, still alive, but it's kind of like, I would consider it in like a dormant state. It's just like there, right? It's not their main product. It's not what they're pushing anymore. They may push it on their marketing. They may push it on like, some of these things. But if you really look into like their updates, I think the last update that they had was for Pigeon. So the Signal application that they developed is still being pushed, is still being updated. Let me see if I can see software release notes. There it is. So I'm going to open the MC02 and then we're going to open the MP02. So the MP02, Pigeon 2.0 was released. I think I'm going to read this the July 2nd, 2024. So Pigeon 2.0, they did some updates, and before that, it was in May. So Pigeon has gotten a lot of updates in this sense. But when it comes to the phone, last time that it got an update was the 29th of August of 2023, which is almost a year ago. That is a long time ago for this to I mean, there's still known issues, right? So for example, there's a bug that displays multiple ones on the home screen when accessing voicemail. Alarms, after exiting the alarm application, the phone can randomly return to the time application. Calling, the user cannot add, different things or dial-ups or whatever. While navigating an APN, a menu overlaying another menu item, the search field still doesn't, will only register the first letter of any given key for contacts. Plus, of course, we still don't have MMS, group text messaging. We still don't have any applications to kind of like make it more useful. Yes, they did some fixes, but that was a year ago. So that is the track record that you have been looking at this company, right? They have continually made minimal improvements to this phone. And to Pigeon, they have been very consistent, right? So they had one in March. They had one in May. They had one in here in July. So pretty recent. So if you're looking for a Pigeon application and you're looking for a device that uses Pigeon mostly, which is the Signal protocol and, all of the stuff, then yeah, for sure. The base Signal is Signal 7.81. I don't know when this was released, but it doesn't sound like it's too recent to me. Let's find it. Signal 7.81 was released May of 2024, I guess. Yes, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. May. Yeah, so they are running about 4 months behind on the Signal application. The latest Signal application is 7.14. So they are running right now 7.8. So 7.14 is, a little bit more. So again, just consider this phone in a dormant state. Don't really think that it's going to be improved significantly. If you like what it does today, then that's good. Perfect. That's essentially what you're going to get. Now, they do have another device, which is a smartphone. It's called the MC02. And if you see, this was released earlier this year. And software-wise, it had an update in May, and it had an update in July. So every 2 months, right? The funny thing about the MC02 is that it's running the same operating system, or they claim that they're developing the same operating system. So Appy OS, which I think there's a website for that. Hopefully it's appyos.com, I think. No. Okay, let's see. Or apostrophe OS, that's what it's called. Appy.app, that's what it's called, not .com. Okay, so apostrophe OS.app. It's a Swiss-based, like private, open source, secure. It's essentially a fork of Graphene OS. Let's just call it what it is. So they have these. Number one, they have a subscription for the operating system, right? For some things, some extra things that they add into the operating system, you need to pay a subscription for that. So they say that both devices, the MP02 and the MC02, are running the same operating system. But to me, they're running slightly different versions of the operating system. Because number one, the security patches are not up to date on the MC02. The MC02 has MMS and text messaging, which the MP02 does not, for no reason whatsoever. Then, of course, this has more hardware availabilities, right? So for more hardware availabilities, you can definitely do more things on the MC02, but you should have the same parity of the operating system if that is how you're branding this. So essentially, again, I'm going to come back to my original point, which is consider the MP02 as is. Don't expect any updates to the operating system. Expect updates to the Pigeon system, because they cannot be behind more than 6 months. When they're behind more than 6 months, then that's a problem, because they are unable to actually load Pigeon for the device. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a perspective of how this company works and what they're trying to do with this operating system and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. By the way, is my mic doing well today? I am just testing a new setup, so I just want to make sure that you guys are listening to everything. Okay, next question. Lord Mihan, why is no one on the Dumbphone Reddit talking about the new Nokia 2152 225, 235 models from 2024. I really like the orange Nokia 215 4G. I think the reason why is because many people don't like that they're too basic. They don't even have hotspot, right? So, one of the kind of compromises here is, for example, the Freetel mode Retro 2, right? This is a flip phone device. It looks like a flip phone, right? And you are also able to have Android apps, right? So Google Play right there, Android. So it's kind of like best of both worlds. With simple devices like the Nokia HMD, so the HMD devices, which are not bad devices in my personal opinion, but it's kind of like, what do you want in your life? Let's see if I can change to a different location. I think it's right here. Yes, there it is. Okay, so let's go to Europe. Let's go to Germany. Usually feature phones. So here they are. Great devices. I think they're very simple, very nice to use. And actually, they're cool devices. But the problem is that they're so basic that they miss a lot of certain small things that people need for their everyday life. Maybe it's WhatsApp. Maybe it's a browser that actually gets you some decent information here and there. Something that can work for most of the day, and that you can get back to, the kind of like everyday, maybe like bigger necessities like email and like, a couple of these things here and there at home. So they cannot bridge the gap totally because, again, they don't have that ability to kind of like go further. They're too basic for some people. So that's why people are not really interested in them. And also, they don't get a lot of updates. They don't get a lot of support and a lot of things that people are actually, looking for. Their MP3 player sometimes fails. Yeah, their FM radio works, but I mean, that's just kind of one kind of entertainment, right? Like, what if I want to have a podcast? What if I want to download this or that? So people want tools. They want something in the middle that looks like a dumb phone, that still has a couple of functionalities. Something like this Xiaomi F21, for example, great device. This is, I've been doing some testing in the past week to kind of like go back to it. Let me show you kind of like what I mean, right? So this looks like the Nokia. There's a Nokia, right? Same size. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. There you go. So same size for the Nokia, right? Very similar in size, very similar in width. Even the Nokia is a little bit thicker, right? Similar screen, right? Like, screen technology. I mean, it's pretty similar. The Nokia may actually be a little bit larger, but this one has the availability of having Android, right? So now I can have extra niceties like WhatsApp, like podcasting. But is the Nokia that much better than the Xiaomi F21? I mean, that's debatable, right? It's better at being a very basic phone, right? It's just simple, it doesn't have things. But here I have the weather, which is not going to distract me. It's not going to make that big of a difference. But because of that, right? Or because of that lack of functionality, a lot of the time, these devices get passed over. People try them for a day, for maybe a week, maybe a month, and they're like, is it for me? Can I really live with this for long term? Like, like thinking long term, right? And yeah, like the technology behind it is not impossible to use, but sometimes it can be a little bit harder. So that's why people usually don't talk about it on the Dumbphone subreddit, because they're more interested in the transition aspect, right? Like they want a device that bridges the best of both worlds. You have some smart capabilities, but it's not too smart that I'm going to be able to, like, for example, on the Xiaomi F21, this screen is so small that could I watch a video on this? Yes. Is it a pleasant experience to be like, oh yes, wow, like look at that, this is amazing, right? Yeah, I could watch a video, but it's not going to be the most pleasant experience, and I'm probably not going to be looking into it, right? Now, there is a caveat here, and I'll be talking about this. Maybe right now is a good time since it's kind of like merging, that I'll come back to this in the kind of updates of what's happening. So Cloud Phone is a cloud-based kind of like essentially application repository. They're working with a lot of these companies, but they're working on bringing apps to these Nokia devices. And you can already see it in Asia. So if you have a Nokia device in Asia, they are opening it up to having that ability. They're having extra apps here. Right now, the apps are, in my opinion, let me see if I can go to HMD website and go back to, let's see, Deutschland, Asia, Philippines, maybe. Let's try it. So here in the Philippines, I don't know if they're already there, but they have implemented this cloud phone based application onto, it's a browser essentially. So clearly it's not here. Let's try India maybe. So they have a little bit of extra functionality. Let's see. So these are the new ones. HMD apps. Where are the apps? Capture. It doesn't seem to be like really, they don't seem to be advertising it at all, honestly. But essentially some dumb phones, okay, UPI, okay, they did mention UPI, but I don't see the, okay, there it is. So as you see here right now, this technically, the new all cloud apps brings together news, weather, full YouTube access, and YouTube Shorts, which honestly, I think that that's what they should be eliminating from. They should be not partnering with Google, but I get it, you know, probably they get a lot of money to partner with Google and that kind of stuff. But full YouTube access and YouTube Shorts, why do I need that in a feature phone? I really don't need that, right? Like, you know, I don't need to be distracted on a feature phone. But what I'm actually excited about, right, is more actually useful applications coming to devices that are very inexpensive, like this Nokia, right? So if this Nokia device has, instead of YouTube, it has maybe like email, or it has like just to check it, not to respond. Clearly, I'm not going to respond to email on this, but like have maybe WhatsApp communication, right? Like via a web browser. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go to a web browser and like, you know, just reply to my communication things, or maybe have a podcasting app, right? I know PodLP, PodLP Cloud Phone, PodLP, which is an application from, here, blog, perfect. So PodLP, which is an application from this guy called Thomas Barrazo, great guy. And if you have any of these devices, essentially what you're doing is you're running podcasting, which is great for learning stuff, right? So like, as you see, it's very basic, but it's very nice. And you can still listen to a lot of this stuff. You can read more about this on, PodLP, but he already has it on the Kyocera store. He has it on the Geo store. He's been kind of focusing on the next billion users that will listen to podcasts, right? So this cloud phone partnership, these are the kind of apps that I want to see. I want to see apps that are actually helpful for people, right? And that you can buy a very cheap phone. I mean, this phone is $60, right? So I buy a $60 phone, but I can still have education. I can still have information. And it's not going to be something that I'm going to be scrolling forever, because the phone limits me, like automatically limits me by its lack of a touchscreen and by only being able to, like, tap the keyboard to navigate. So those things that are actually useful for people, I think that's what people actually want to see. They don't want to be drained of their time and attention, but instead you just want to, hey, okay, somebody sent me an email. I just need to check it. I'll check it. I read it. Go back to my life. Go back to whatever I was doing. But right now, with their implementation, they are essentially focusing on like YouTube and that kind of stuff, which I'm like, probably you need better apps. Now, I will say, I've been talking with them, and I will be getting their flagship, one of these, to showcase on the channel, and we'll be talking about it. Maybe I'll do a live stream, a full thing for this. But yes, I'm really excited about these devices. I think this cloud platform is going to be great. It's affordable devices with compelling applications. That's the big gap right now. And essentially that's going to bring a lot of people into the next kind of like information and, having like a lot of technological advancements that are helpful for people. Now, there is a privacy concern, and I will be very honest with this, because the problem is that everything is loaded on the cloud, right? So it's a cloud based that is just essentially emulating on the phone. We need to get more details about how that's going to work before I'm like, yes, this is like the best thing. But if you're just getting information from the cloud, perfect, no problem. But if you're putting in your information into the cloud, that may be a little bit of like a privacy concern, right? And you may need to think about, something that you look into, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, more questions. Okay, I'm going to allot 10 more minutes for questions, and then we're going to go to updates of phones that are upcoming, okay? Is there a dumb phone with GPS that uses Google Maps? I have the Light Phone 2 and the GPS is terrible. It freezes, doesn't update route when I miss a turn, or it just doesn't find a signal at all. Okay, Steph, good question. Yes, there are. And just kind of like you did not ask this question, but there is an update coming up on the Light Phone 2 that is going to make the GPS way better. But that's just like, hey, wait for it. Whenever it comes, it comes. If you like it, great. And if you want to switch to something that uses Google Maps or something more reliable, then first of all, recommend go to the Dumbphone Finder, dumbphonefinder.com or dumbphones.org. You can find it in both addresses, web address. But if you go here, you have the ability to go GPS navigation, Google Maps, and it will sort through all the phones and tell you which ones can use it. I will go with my 4 and 5 star recommendations because I don't like to waste your time. So these are the 12, 13 phones that I would recommend you look into if you need Google Maps. And even then, I will take out the Shock Classic personally. So you have the TCL Flip Pro, you have the Jelly 2E, Cat S22 Flip, Nokia 2780, TIC Mini M5, that kind of stuff. These are extremely helpful and very useful for you. I think these are highly competent phones. The Jellies especially, they're super competent because they're essentially mini smartphones. But if you want something more basic, something that you can use in your area, depending on, again, which carrier you have, you can also sort by carrier here. This is the North American one. I have split it up into 4 Dumbphone Finders, one for Europe, one for Asia, one for Latin America, and one for North America. I still don't have Africa or the Middle East because I have a hard time finding people that report data to me. So this is a very community-oriented thing. So if you have data saying like, hey, I used the Nokia 225 with such and such carrier in, Saudi Arabia or, Kenya or any of these countries, right? Like, please give me that data so I can put it on the database and I can bring those resources to people because I'm really, really hopeful that more people can find that stuff. But this is kind of my recommendation for you. I will go with something like on the cheaper side, so the Cat S22 Flip, or something like the Nokia 2780, which is essentially running a very basic version of Google Maps, but it will give you what you need, like the information. Maybe if you need turn-by-turn directions and spoken things, we're going to go with only Android. So I'm going to put here these two. So this is my more kind of like even more refined list. I will go for the Cat S22 Flip first. Then probably, since I don't know if you're in the United States or outside of the United States, so if you can give me that extra information, I could help you even further. Steph, if you have a light phone, I'm going to assume you're probably in a light phone serviceable area, so United States. Highly recommend the Cat S22 Flip or the TIC Mini M5, and then the Jelly Star. They're a little bit on the pricier side, especially the Jelly and the TIC Mini, but I think they're worth your money, and you'll be able to have those things. If you feel like there'll be too much distraction, the Cat S22 Flip is the best next option, just because the Cat S22 Flip has that flip phone, is big, is rugged. I mean, it's not like the nicest device to hold and kind of like manipulate, and that kind of have like the stuff. So let me showcase to you what it looks like so you can kind of see if that's something that works for you. But again, if you keep the light phone, there's an update coming probably by the end of the month or beginning, September. I don't know when it's going to be super live, but um, uh, yeah, I think that it does have some promise. The new update for the GPS, it's going to be way more reliable for pinpointing your location and like giving you the feedback that you need. And of course, the iPhone 3 is coming, but that's a completely different conversation. So here's the Cat S22, so you can see it. I can show you Google Maps and how it works. Another recommendation is maybe look into getting like a GPS unit, especially if you have like a car. Here, I'll show you what that looks like. There is a company that makes, like, if you don't have a new car and you don't have like this Android Auto or that kind of stuff, Android Auto physical device. What is it called? Yes, something like this. So, but no, because these you have to connect it to it. Let me go to Amazon. Android Auto. Let's just pick that. Yes, something like this. So these wireless car portable Android Auto things, you can essentially just buy one of these and have like a Google Pixel or even CarPlay with an iPhone, right? Like, a lot of these have it, and you can just do offline maps with Google Maps, and you will be getting like a similar experience. And since I assume you're driving, then that's going to be useful. Now, if you're using public transit, then it's, whatever. Any of these works. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the demo of the Cat S22. So this is the Cat S22 Flip. And as you see right here, because it's such a large device, I mean, like, it's a little bit slower. It's not the fastest device ever, but it's fast enough that it will give you, Google Maps and the directions that you need. So I think that, that can help you and, get a lot of the directions and get to the places that you need to do. And it will, turn by turn, it will guide you and do everything that you need for the device. And again, it works just like a smartphone, but, for $70, I think it's a good option. So, like, you're able to find the places, and whatever, and you're able to, kind of locate everything that you need to locate. Okay, perfect. All right. So those are my recommendations. 3 more minutes, and then we'll do. Don't worry, I know all the questions. We'll get to it, But 3 more minutes, and then I need to talk about the other devices that are coming out. Okay. Some phones, Kyocera, Cat S22 work on Metro PCS. So the Cat S22 should work, Mario, on Metro PCS. So the Sunbeam F1 should work also, and I believe Metro PCS has a Kyocera device. No, they have an Android device. So let's see. Price low to high. Tabasco, yes, this is the one. The hot pepper Tabasco is actually a good phone, pretty decent for being super basic, but it's just basic. It's a basic. I don't think that's what you're looking for. So the Sunbeam F1 should work because it works with T-Mobile, and Metro PCS is owned by T-Mobile. And also the Cat S22 should work also because it is an unlocked T-Mobile device. Okay, one more question, and then we'll go over the other questions in the Q&A number 2. Okay, next one. Hi, Jose. Alexandru says, could you recommend a transition phone that can be found in the European market? I have the 6310, but it's too basic and it loses phone signal most of the time. Absolutely. I highly recommend the TT Phone 970. So, .co.uk. TT Phone 970. So the TT Phone 970 is an excellent device, in my opinion. It's their flagship device. If you still have 3G, you can go with the TT Phone 950, but the 970 is their flagship device. They have like essentially this is a Sunbeam F1, so it's a cousin of the Sunbeam F1, and it does have the ability to load apps. So a lot of apps can be loaded. It does have 1 gig of RAM, so it's not going to be the most powerful device, but it's going to be able to run most apps that you need. So that is one recommendation. And depending on what you need, there may be a company. I don't know what your specific needs are. If you need full access to everything, to all the apps that you want, Cat S22 is another one, right? So that one technically works also in Europe, depending on the country. But this one is one phone that you can try. I've liked it, using it. Clearly, it has some mixed reputation. Depends on what people. Oh, okay. So look at this. Amazon summarizes H range, quality, easy of use, performance, and camera. So everything is pretty good, smart enough. Not sure if they're keeping it yet. Some people are saying like awful phone, but it depends on who it is, right? Like, so who is it for? I think it's a good phone, personally. It does have some issues with the hinge, so it's a little fragile. So I'll definitely recommend that you keep it on a case, or that you try to maybe like, take care of it. Like, maybe like use some of that. So, but highly recommend the TT Phone 970 because you can sideload pretty much everything and use most of your devices, and you can get it used for £95, so maybe 90 euros, no, or maybe a little bit more. So that's my recommendation for that transition, Cat S22 or TT Phone 970. Okay, guys, keep bringing your questions. I'll be interacting with you guys continually, so just put the questions there and we'll get back to them. Let's go over the next section, which is upcoming phones. So that took about 30 minutes of questions. Good stuff, guys. Good Q&A. Upcoming phones. Okay, so we already talked about the iPhone 3. There's a timestamp in there. My thoughts on their latest release. Really excited to continue following what they do. Okay, upcoming phones. So this phone is already out. It's called the K Mobile. This is a UK device. It's a kosher company, but they have some nice apps. I would say like they have some apps. I received a unit from them, which I will eventually give away once I've gone through everything, because I don't keep anything that I haven't bought myself. And usually I also give away things that I have bought myself, just because I like to give back to the community, which, by the way, reminds me that I do have a giveaway going on right now. It will finish in 6 days because I won't have access to my email mostly after that. But this company, K Mobile, essentially customized a Xiaomi F21 Pro, and here it is. So it does have extra apps, some nice ones, in my opinion. It does have like Google Maps Go. Oh, not enough battery. Okay, I'll charge it and then we'll go back to it. We'll go back to it in just a second. This should charge pretty quickly, but I can showcase it here in the. So it has Google Messages, right? So RCS enabled. It does have Gmail Go, Google Drive, Waze. So it's not Maps, it's Waze. Calendar, Gboard, PDF reader, some Jewish apps, because again, this is a kosher company. But if you're like trying to get an F21 Pro for what I would say is a very, very good price, already configured to not be distracting and only have these applications, highly recommend that you take a look into them. They are also taking a lot of feedback. So I talked with them, and they are working on like something in specific for bringing maybe a couple more apps here and there, and trying to be a little bit more open about that. But they have, weather, and they have a lot of like good functionality. So really excited about them. It's called K Mobile. So K Mobile, kosher phones done differently. They're based out of the UK. So that's one. Cloud Phone is the next one. So Cloud Phone, like I talked about, it's essentially phones that are basic, but that have a little bit of extra oomph, and they have extra apps. Hopefully they bring more useful apps. The eTel, I believe, is their flagship right now, but they are working with some partners like HMD and other partners soon to be released that I think would be better for the for the European and the American market. Yes, so they're going to be looking at. They're based out of Puffin. So Puffin is the company. They have done this cloud kind of like since 2012, I believe, that they came up with this, and they have, a TV browser and Raspberry Pi, desktop, and like they have a lot of extra kind of like products that are looking into it, that they're kind of like developing. So check them out. I'm really excited about their cloud phone idea. I think it's going to be a good one. And there's more phones coming out this year that will have more functionality for the American and for the European market. Okay. iPhone 3, we already talked about it. So coming in January 2025. Now we go with the minimal phone. This is a good time to go to Reddit and give me 1 second. Let me go look for their update. So they shared an update with the minimal phone. Oh, that's not good. Okay, let's go back. Where are you? Give me a second, guys. Okay, bam, there it is. Okay, cool. So the minimal phone, they shared an update. There it is, assembly completed. So things that I can see, and I always try to keep you updated on these things, right? So first of all, minimal phone is essentially a e-ink smartphone that has a keyboard. It's minimal in the sense that it's not meant to be super smart with all of the things and all of the apps unless you want that. But because it has an e-ink screen, it's going to be a little bit slower, right? They have great marketing, by the way. Their like pages are really nice, fluid, high tech, whatever, that kind of stuff. But there's still a couple of things that I want to mention here. So first of all, we see the device being completed. This is the image of the device. As you see right here, it does have the keyboard. It has a front-facing camera here at the bottom. It does have a screen, and it says minimal mode, right? Which essentially what this tells me is that they have been working on getting this product to be actually released. There's a lot of comments back and forth, like people that still don't believe that is a real device or that is going to be coming out. I'm going to tell you, I'm not pre-ordering it yet. And like the reason why I am not still pre-ordering it is because I still haven't seen a working demo. I believe they said in this update that they were going to be looking into, let's go to their subreddit, Minimal Company. Yes. And on this specific device, they said that they show the completion of the device, booting up kind of a thing. I mean, just kind of like, oh, it's booting up, but I mean, it doesn't really have anything showcasing that it's actually working. Then you have all of the components, right? Some of the components here, battery, that kind of stuff. So I believe they said that they are hoping to continue looking into like their products. So this will wrap up before we get to China on Monday. This was released 7 days ago. So I guess they're in China right now. All right, so this was released about 7 days ago. So they're in China, and hopefully we get a little bit more updates. I'm still not pre-ordering it because I still haven't seen a working prototype. And that's the thing that keeps me from essentially saying like, yes, I want this device. I still think it's a good device for some people, the people that need maybe a more boring screen that is helpful, that is, different. So again, and I personally think that it's going to be interesting if they fully release it. Now, there are some things I already see that I'm concerned about. And this is because of how fast the release is, right? So they are saying that by September, in a week or so, 11 days or so, they will have a ready prototype. Now, this is an early version, early verification, like engineer verification sample, right? It's kind of hard for me to say like we're going from engineer validation test to fully working phone in a month. Look at the timeline, and this is why I kept this on the engineer validation test from the light phone, right? This is what they still have to go to. Some things we're working on schedule are the design verification test, right? Finalizing the bumper, camera, reducing battery door vibration, optimizing the shutter button, refining things, etc., etc. They're still working on the software. Of course, this is a little bit different because Minimal is using like more of like a basic Android device, right? So here we have some of the pictures, some of the things that they're doing. And here's my thing, right? So like if the Light Phone team, which has released a phone before, too, they're coming into their third one. They're 6 months from their engineering validation test to production, right? So it's going from EVT to design validation test to full ramp up production. And that's going to take them approximately 4 to 5 months. Now we're saying that the Minimal phone, which is the first time that they're building it, you know, in their small company, and they're like, you know, coming here, they went from early, you know, engineering validation test to design validation test to fully working phone with no bugs or issues and stuff like that in a month. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying like, yo, like that's a little fast. And I personally will have caution over it. I still want to see a working demo. Once I see a working demo, I'm like, hey guys, go pre-order it, take a chance on it, right? After all, like it's if that's something that really excites you. But I see all the parts, I see all the modules. This is what something that reminds me, right? So if you remember, I said that their original concept looked really nice, but it wasn't like, you know, a real prototype. So this is, I would say this device is based similarly, or it's based out of like something like this, which is the Unihertz, the Unihertz Jelly, not the Titan Slim, which by the way, you can get this phone on the giveaway. It does say that it does have a defect. This is the defect. It doesn't affect functionality here. It's just a problem on the defect right there. So just kind of like FYI. But this device is kind of like what they based this other device out of. The screen components and everything, layout, it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit not as slim. It's very, very wide. And that's what I expect to happen with this device. It's going to be larger than a like regular iPhone, like the dimensions are larger. But the reason why is because what they were trying to do, if you remember in the GoGo Minimal company or phone, what they were trying to do was a very customized small device, looked like a BlackBerry, that kind of stuff, right? So now it's a larger phone because I believe they're using, at the end of the day, components that are off the shelf. Like they're not trying to create a very, you know, I mean, it's definitely a new device. There's nothing like this in the market, but the components are not designed for this specific device, right? So this used to be the device. It used to be like, you know, more like boxy and like, you know, smaller. Now they went with a larger device. And the reason why essentially is, even if you compare that picture right here with this picture right here, of this device, right? So look at how wide the screen is compared to even this one right here. Of course, dimensions may be looking a little different, you know, et cetera, but it's just a larger phone, which is fine. I think this is actually innovation, you know, because it has a QWERTY keyboard, because it has the e-ink screen. I want to see a working demo. I know they're working hard for it. So like I've been talking with Andre, and I have gained more respect and definitely more confidence as time has gone by, because he is putting out there the information that people need to have. So I personally respect that. But I can't back it up yet. And the reason why is because the model or the way that they're doing things, right, is like, okay, I need to see more working stuff, right? But I believe that they have, you know, almost there a working prototype, and I'm really happy that they have showcased this to the community, that they are building transparency. There were some things in the beginning. There was like, you know, is this real? You know, that kind of stuff. They changed the design, of course, but I'm really happy where it's going. I'm really happy that it's going. I'm really happy that it's getting closer to actual release. So personally, I think I like that. So I think they already show a picture with a GSI ROM, but in the following days, they should release some videos. Good. Javier, thank you for that update. I'm really excited of where this is going personally, because we need more devices. We need more innovation. We need more companies that want to listen to customers and make stuff happen, right? So again, I'm really excited, but I will pre-order it once I see a working prototype. If I don't see a working prototype, I cannot recommend it to anybody. That's just what it is. Okay, next company. Oh, this is a bummer. This is a bummer on multiple levels, in my opinion. So another company that has been out there, right? They want to get a lot of good things out there for their product. So the Wise phone, this right here is their new device. So if you remember, this is what it used to look like. You see right here, this device is what it used to look like. So the white, very customized punch hole phone, that's what people pre-ordered, or a lot of people pre-ordered. Sadly, I believe, and this is what happens when you try to make a custom phone, making a custom phone is really hard. This is not their fault. It's just really hard. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, and it's just very difficult, right? Now they have gone with a Galaxy something. This is what it looks like to me. I cannot corroborate that it is a Galaxy something, but if I look at a Galaxy A15, the 5G, I mean, we're about to look at the picture, and I mean, maybe a bigger picture, hopefully. T-Mobile. Let's see if we can go with like images. Okay, so let's look at this phone right here. Right. How can I double click that one? Maybe. Okay, sure. That's big enough. Okay, so let's look at that phone, and let's keep it there. Okay, so many pop-ups. Okay, so let's look at that phone right there. Perfect. Now let's look at this phone. Let's look back, and now let's look at the Pure. Is that the same phone? Yes, it is. I mean, like, it's a customized Galaxy A15. So they went from making a custom phone, right, to making a phone that used to look like this, right? The techless, customized phone, to customizing a phone that is already there. Now, I don't have a problem with that. There are a lot of companies that do this. On the giveaway, which again pinned in the description and also in the chat, I'll put the link again in just a second. Ghostmode.us, that's what it is. So Ghost Mode, for example, they take a Pixel, Pixel 6, Pixel 6a. I believe that's the one. They, I guess they're sold out right now. They remove everything. They only leave you with the basics. And uses Pixel 6a hardware. They charge you a premium, and they're like, hey, we customize the device for you, but you get a similar experience. I'm fine with that. Honestly, I'm not a problem. Not a problem with grabbing a phone. What I do have a problem with is charging too much. Like, for example, in the Ghost phone example, like a Pixel 6a. Okay, let's go over how much is a Pixel 6a. Pixel 6a on Amazon today, like, no bulk, just one phone, right? It's about $300. So like you get a $300 phone, you put a customized operating system, and you charge people $599. That's double the price. That's a lot of money. Okay, I don't mind paying a premium for somebody to manage my device if that's what I feel like it's the way that I want to do it. Same thing with the Wise phone. Okay, but on Ghost Phone's defense, they sell you the phone. It's yours. You get to do whatever you want with it. Now, here's the problem, personally, that I think Techless is having. And there's a Reddit post right now where one of their employees, Cam, really nice guy, by the way, is just battling a lot of the feedback, that I would call it feedback that people are giving. But then you have a phone like this, right? It has only the basics. But then you have a subscription to have to use the phone with. So the phone is $399. If I go to buy a Samsung Galaxy A15, is $199, so $200, and the phone is $399, $400. So you're charging me double the amount for a customized device, fine, no problem. But on top of that, their only way to use this is in the following manner. You can either pay them $24.99 for a phone plan plus their techless drawer, right? Like, it gives you some data, unlimited call and text, and then like you get to keep your phone number, right? But then like if you want like the techless tool drawer, you need to go to $44.99 and then $69.99 if you want mobile hotspot. And now you have a core one, you can bring your own carrier for $14.99. So I have a difficulty, in my personal opinion, backing projects like these, not because there is no value in them, but because like you're already charging me $200 more for the same phone that I could get at Best Buy for half the price. And on top of that, I need to pay an extra fee to manage my, you only give me access to curated third-party tools. I'm okay with like a curation portion. That's no problem. But I'm already paying you $200 more for that, in my opinion. So I think they should just drop the subscription thing. They can keep their plans. That's fine. Whatever. No problem. Keep a plan. Give the opportunity to people to support you directly through a plan. Other companies have done it. Punked has done it. Mudita is about to do it, I believe. And also, they're doing it. That's fine. No problem. But you're giving me a curated app store and charging me $15 for it. That's very difficult for me to swallow. And especially when you're just grabbing a phone and like rebranding it. And I've had conversations with them and I've told them like, I don't like the subscription model. You can just make your phone by charging more. Just make it more expensive. Fine. And then provide the value on the back end, I mean, they're already charging $200 extra. How much more should you give? So I really don't understand. This is a physical device. This is not a software. So same thing happened with Unplug, for example. I'll give an example with Unplug. I told them, and I'm okay. They don't have to listen to me. But for example, like you have Unplug tag, right? Like which blocks you from having the apps. But in order to use the thing, okay, this thing is $74.95. 1 year of Unplug Premium. So it's a physical product plus a premium subscription. But then like I had to pay again after that year for the subscription. 6 months is $51.95. 3 months is, 3 years is $179.95. Okay, fine. But like, then you have competitors like Get Brick, the app, which do the same thing, right? They have a physical device that blocks you from using all of the other things. Guess what? You buy it, $49. That's it. You buy it once, you're done. Then you want to save 20%, get 2. 1 for your family, 1 for you. Buy 3, save 30%. There you go. You can get 3 for the price that you would have paid 2 individual ones, right? I think that's a genius idea. Just say to people, this is how much it is. This is how it works. If you like it, great. Use it. No problem. Don't pay for a subscription that you don't need. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Now, if you want to do it, fine. Go support them. Go support all the companies that have subscriptions. I personally prefer companies that don't have subscriptions and that give me the upfront value of the device, and then I never had to pay for it again. That's just my opinion. That's just how I do it. I wish success to Techless. I think they're going to have a good device that is going to help a lot of people because a lot of people are in this, kind of like, hey, I want help in my life. And that's okay. So, but just get rid of the subscription, maybe charge more. You already made it double the price, right? And maybe you have reasons for it. You have employees. You have to, make sure that you hedge against the actual cost of getting these devices. There are a lot of good reasons to charge more for a device that costs you less, right? So if it costs you $200, let's just say that they're selling them at retail, which I doubt. You buy a bulk. You buy at $150 per instead of $200 per. So one or maybe even $100, right? So if you're already making a profit, great. Make a profit. You need a profitable company. Don't if you don't have a profitable company, that's not good because you want to make sure that be upfront about it. And this is why a lot, to a certain degree, the light phone is expensive, right? So like We have gone over this. This phone is $300, the iPhone 2. This phone is $499 right now for the iPhone 3, but they're going up to $799. I don't know if they're going to go up that further, like that high, but like they're saying, hey, this is what it's worth. This is what we're going to do. This is, you know, how much does it cost, how much it is, like, you know, and that kind of stuff. But they're selling you a phone that is a different experience, that is basic, that is, you know, nice. And that's essentially why you're doing it. Now, my guess is as to why, and I'll finish with this. My guess is as to why they have the subscription, because they're using something like a mobile device management. So if you're not use mobile device management software, so it's essentially software that you get to use to control which devices or what you can use on a device or not. So for example, for Android, right? You pay a fee, you know, for example, in this case, it is $3.30 per device per month, right? So again, let's say they're going to have 100 customers in the beginning. It's $3.30. That's their cost to manage that you don't install whatever app you want, only the apps that they want. Fine, no problem. $3.30. Okay, charge me $5. Charge me $7 for it. You're charging $14.99 a month for something that you could get for probably, most likely, $3.30. Sure, you may be using a more expensive one with better reputation. That costs you, I don't know, it costs you $5 per device. Let's go all the way to 1,000 devices. Let's say that they're really successful and that they need a quote for 950 devices. If they pay annually, is $2.75. Okay, fine. $14.99 from $2.75. Come on, guys. Like if we're trying to actually help people and make money at the same time, that's fine. I'm not against people making money. Like, be transparent about what you're doing, you know? That's it. I guess a little bit of a rant, but I was just disappointed to see, number one, they're using a device that is available in the market. Number two, they are sadly kind of like not able to deliver on their previous kind of like phone that they had, right? Like available. So that's a little bit of a sad thing. And again, making a phone is hard, but it's just be transparent with the community. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. And maybe that's what Camp tried to do today or yesterday whenever he posted that. And I hope he gets more positive feedback over time. But I think they really need to rework a little bit of like their core audience, their ideas of how to do these things. And if you're trying to really help people or like a lot of people, then try to like, you know, and I mean, look, if that's the model that they want to run, fine, no problem. There's got to be other competition, and competition is always healthy. Last device. Gosh, we're going over half an hour on these new devices. There's a lot of new devices and a lot of stuff to do. So, okay. Mudita Compact, more offline, more live. That's great. So the Compact has had way more new releases. I'm really excited to see how this continues to develop. So the Mudita Compact has now wireless charging, has an audio jack 3.5, has a dual active SIM. This tells us that it's most likely running Android. Has an e-ink display. The icons also tell me that it's running Android. If you look at the icons, it's like pretty obvious, right? It has a 4.3-inch screen. It's actually pretty nice. I really think it's going to be a good thing. It's an e-ink screen. Has ebook reader, so already loaded. It does have a clean and custom OS. They have definitely taken some Android and made it new, you know, which is great. Compact form, 4.3-inch screen. Pretty small, 128, 70, 12.6. If you put this on a comparison table, it's probably the size of a iPhone SE, which is a pretty nice, actually fits in your hand. One-handed use, expect that. And then you have a control panel button. This also kind of like gives it away that is Android. But it's a customized device, and we still don't have pricing, but I don't expect it to be, you know, more than $500. I don't think they're going to charge $500 for this. Like, I mean, maybe they would, but like, I mean, definitely the competition is going in that direction. I mean, when you take like minimal company, right? This one's what, $399. Okay. So $399. Then Techless, same thing. Techless.com, same thing. It's $399. So maybe they make it $399. I don't know what the price is going to be. So, I'm really excited to see more details about this. They're going to continue to release. And as always, you can go to their forum, which is where they put a lot of their information. So forummodita.com, .modita.com. You can look into kind of like more extra details and ask extra questions about that. Maybe that's why the Wise Phone kept it at $399, because they're like, well, if the minimum company is $399 and the light phone is $299, but I would just take it as an opportunity. Well, but here's the thing: minimal company, $399, no subscription, keyboard, e-ink screen. Light phone, customized device, very different, definitely more expensive, but it's like something different. But this is just maybe what makes me sad. It's just like grab a phone, put an OS, charge more. I don't know, and charge a subscription. I don't even mind the charge more, because I'm like, yes, you're providing value and locking my device and only giving me the useful apps. But charging me a subscription, I feel like that's what makes me really, 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 really sad about that kind of situation. Okay. Oh, all right. Wow, that was a lot, guys. Let's go over next thing, which is 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, I think this is 46. Yeah. We're gonna go over Q&A 2. Q&A 2. 115. Perfect. All right. So, let me show you the K mobile phone. I already charged. So let's just finish this section with the upcoming phones. So K mobile, as you see, Xiaomi F21. You can travel with the keys or with the apps. And as you see, this is the premium plus device. So it has files, calendar, Google Drive, Gboard, a lot of like nice things. And it's pretty fast, pretty snappy. You can type and connect, with everything. Whatever you need right there. Yeah, so it's quite exciting, actually. So there you go. Just the K mobile device. All right, let's go over Q&A number 2. Let's start with where we left off. Okay. First question from Sabyasachi. Good evening from India. Is there any phone with Type-C charging, wireless radio, but no YouTube? Because Nokia has cloud apps, but you cannot uninstall YouTube. Okay, the wireless charger is the problem here. It's going to, or Type-C charging, wireless radio. Oh, okay, I read it wrong. Okay, so Type-C charging, wireless radio. I think what you need is just an older Nokia device. So older than the cloud app phones. So if you go to HMD's website, let's go to the India one. So you could get something along the lines of this older Nokia 2660 Flip, or the Nokia 1064G 2023, or the Nokia 57. But wireless charger. Maybe this one, Nokia 130M. I think this one has wireless charging, but I don't think this one has the YouTube stuff. So I recommend that you look into an older Nokia phone. You can get something from 2023, or you can also get something, maybe if you import it from a different region. So what happens is that your region has the cloud apps. There it is. These are the cloud apps. So I highly recommend that you maybe look into like getting it from a different country, maybe a neighboring country that doesn't have all of those things, or just get an older one. If you get an older one, you probably will have what you need. But the problem is the Type-C charging, right? So like, can you have that? Maybe try a Geo device. Maybe that's something that could help. And if you want to get Android, so on the Android land, there's more. So let's go over here, GPS. So let's go to Android and Type-C, USB-C. Most of them are here too. So something like the TCL Flip 2. Okay, let's go to Asia. Sorry, Asian Dumbphone Finder. Let's go to Type-C. Right there. Okay. So what can you get in India? AGM. You could get AGM in India, AGM M9 and MGM M8. There are international variants for that. The Cat S22 Flip, you could get them also out there. And another one, maybe depending on how much you want to spend, the Freetel or the AGM M7. Those are recommendations that have the USB-C port. I'm sorry, and that also have a oh my gosh, I'm sorry. that also have wireless radio and a Type-C charger. So hopefully that helps you. Local host, it says, is the TCL Flip 3 good enough for Google Maps? Provided if I could sideload it. I don't live in the US, so any phone can probably work for me. So if you don't live in the US, I would just look into another Kyocera device. But if you maybe are looking for those improvements that are maybe like faster, then Kyocera 3.0 devices are due to be released hopefully in Europe. So if you live in Europe or in Asia, they're due to be released in this next quarter, as far as I've been told, which goes great with Emil's question, which we'll get to in just a second. I am Vid91. Hi, when can we expect a Jelly Max review? I don't know if I'm going to do one, to be honest. So the Jelly Max is their latest device. Indiegogo, I think, Kickstarter. So the Jelly Max is a small phone. It's a smaller phone for sure. It costs about, I think, $200 or $250. That's how much it costs. So I think it's quite nice, and you have swipe and right there, but you went from like 3-inch to 5-inch, and I feel like that's the cutoff for me. I feel like if there's anything bigger than 3 inches, I just consider it like a full smartphone at that point, and I'm not really that interested in reviewing it. So $199, that's how much it was. Again, good device if you're looking for a smaller device, but it's a little bit bigger, and that's where, like, for example, here's an example, a perfect example. Gaming is possible at 5 inches. At 3 inches is not. Like, it's just very, very cumbersome. So going from the 3-inch Jelly Star to the Jelly Max at 5 inches, I think it's just a lot, and I personally don't like that. So it's probably going to be a better small smartphone than most small smartphones, but I personally just don't think I'm going to review it. But if you're interested, there it is. Go to the Kickstarter and check it out. Emil says, do you have news for the future of Kyocera? Yes, it's not looking good. Let's just put it like that. So kyosetech.com. So two things why Kyocera is going very difficult right now. So here in the United States, they're releasing a lot of these devices with the Blue Flex. This is a device that is on the giveaway, by the way. Let me put that link again it is on the description if you came in a little bit later. Here's the link for the giveaway. So if you want to win one of these phones and you have somebody that lives in the United States that can send it to you, or you live in the United States yourself, the Blue Flex, for example, was released. There's going to be a lot more releases for Kyocera, but sadly, I don't see WhatsApp coming back. So there have been conversations about it coming back, but I do not see it coming back. So it's just going to continue to be a very good basic phone platform. However, the problem is that now they have the new competitor, which is the cloud phone, right? So now they have the cloud phone, and they are starting to hopefully release. They're probably going to come with some North American things that are going to be happening, which is essentially going to be a very good battle. Competition always brings better things. So it's going to be a very good battle between Kyocera and cloud phone to see who truly reigns in the affordable device category. For now, they're still releasing a lot of devices, which I'm really hopeful that they're going to continue releasing devices. But I wouldn't count that it's going to be the best experience over the next few years, because it just doesn't seem like they're putting a lot of effort into it still. So hopefully it'll get better over time. Yeah. So that's my update on that. All right. Let's see. Battery life on the Cat S22 AK2. Probably a day and a half max. If you use the battery saver mode and you try to optimize all things, You could push it to 2 days, but it's going to be a day and a half or so. Yeah, probably most likely most days, if you use it a lot, 1 day, and on a good day, a day and a half. Like a good week, a day and a half. Okay, more questions. I have Verizon, but I want the Cat S22 Flip. Should I switch to T-Mobile for it? I'll do you one better. You should switch to US Mobile because it's cheaper than T-Mobile. So usmobile.com, great carrier. Highly recommend them. And you can get a plan for about $17 a month if you pay for 12 months. So if you pay monthly, up to $25 a month, which is cheaper than T-Mobile or most places in T-Mobile. You can get also a very, very, very cheap plan for $8 a month if you want, with 2 gigs of premium data, unlimited talk and text, international calling, etc., etc. So highly recommend that you take a look into US Mobile because they use T-Mobile towers, so they use the same network. And if you're going to be using a dumb phone on T-Mobile, yes, I highly recommend if you want the Cat S22 to switch to T-Mobile, but I highly recommend that you switch to something like US Mobile or Tello, for example. That's another company that has very cheap plans, very affordable. Their unlimited plan is $25, but you can go all the way down to $9 a month. So, for example, limited minutes, free text, 1 gig, 2 gigs probably. That's how much you need, $10 a month. Great value for what they offer. Okay, let's continue. Has there been any talk about weather being added to a light phone too? It's something that they have considered, but it's not something that they're like. I don't think that it's going to happen right away. I recommend you look into SMS weather. So SMS weather. So free SMS weather alerts from Weather USA. Text messages, 1 device, 1 email address, 1 location, boom, 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 free. You can sign up. So Weather USA is one place. You can also do, there are some local, like Colorado agencies or, your agency in your area where you can get some updates by text message. So that is kind of like the best that there's to offer. And there's also a Zapier integration, if I remember. So SMS Zapier, which is an app. Let's see if I can do weather. Weather by Zapier. There you go. Look at that. Choose a trigger, choose an action, endless possibilities. Get daily rain forecast via an SMS. Get today's weather forecast via an SMS. So you can get, I think this is also free. There's pricing, of course, but if you get like very few automations, so like 100 tasks per month, which this you will only need to do 1 task per day, you can get $0 a month. So you can also set that up with Zapier for yourself. So highly recommend you take a look into those resources and see what happens. So yeah, let's continue with CJ says, do you offer one-on-one consultations? I want to get away from my iPhone, but my phone plays a big role in my life. It seems like a big decision, and I want to make sure I don't screw this up. Yeah, I can help on a one-to-one basis. So send me an email. If you go to my website, I don't know if there's an email there, but if you go to my YouTube channel, on the About section, there is my email is there. So on the About section, I believe you can view my email address and send me an email. Just FYI, I usually have, usually you would find me, replying every 24 to 48 hours, but I'm doing an experiment coming up next where I will be 10 days away from my devices. So don't expect a quick reply if you send it September 1st. From now until September 1st, you can expect usually a 24 to 48 hour. But yeah, go to my About page on my YouTube channel, and we can figure something out, and like this is my hobby, but I like to help people, and if I can help you on a one-to-one, I did try a one-to-one kind of like system back in the day, but I didn't get a lot of consultations. So, I just kind of kept it dormant, but I'm definitely willing to help out, and we can work something out, so just send me an email and then we'll go from there. Steven Amelia says, so I spent the day setting up a iPhone 2, playing with it, and then deciding it wasn't for me. It's on eBay today. Love the size, but I love the size, and that was ultimately the biggest problem. Font size, it was the biggest problem. Small for the Gen X size. hopefully the iPhone 3 is better, and hopefully you can get some of your money back. I know the iPhone 2 has great resale value. Ian says that he has bought the TT970 based on Jose's recommendation. He's been playing with it. It's pretty good. So I loaded a few apps. Good to hear. Good to hear. My recommendations are pretty good. Okay. Let's see. More questions. Looking for questions. Laura. Hey, Laura. Hey, good to have you here. She's also a fellow creator on the digital minimalism. Go check her channel. That's really good. She talks about some of these things, but she says, as soon as I hear the word subscription, my brain checks out and I will no longer think about using the product. I'll rather pay one flat fee. Yeah, me too. I honestly, I think we have tons of subscriptions. Personal finance is getting very constrained with all the subscriptions that people have. I try to keep my life as subscription free as possible. I think the only subscription I have is, of course, my cell phone service, and like Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff. It's more like a fixed cost, but honestly, yeah, I honestly, I think again there are better alternatives out there for a lot of the things that you use, and just looking for alternatives, I think it's something that you should look into. So, for example, I'll give you an example. I recently deleted kind of like my streaming platform because I found out that I get this one for free. So sometimes we watch a show and we want to watch a specific show. So I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going to pay a month, watch the show, I'm done, right? But for my ongoing streaming, like if I want to get entertainment somewhere, now I do Canopy. And the reason why is because Canopy is free through the library. So if you go to your library, sign up today for free through your public library or university. So if you have a library card, you can sign up for Canopy, and they have a lot of titles. Moonlight, which was a Academy Award, right? That's a very, very big movie. They have big movies, they have smaller movies, and I highly recommend that you take a look into it at least. So if you could save some money on your subscription services, right? Like let's say you enjoy watching movies or, Netflix or that kind of stuff, whatever it is, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But can you find something for free? Leave No Trace, PBS, Central Park 5. I mean, there's probably a lot of documentaries and a lot of stuff that you can look into it. But I highly recommend that you at least give it a try. It's just something that I personally think if you can save some money instead of paying Netflix and a lot of these other places, use something that is included with your library. And also highly recommend that you go to your library's websites. Arapahoe Library Benefits, I think it's called like that. Benefits and perks, there it is. So if you go to your library, they may have a page like this one. This is my local library, the Arapahoe Library. This is not the one I was looking for. Services, research, spaces. Okay, there's a thing here that the library essentially has like all of these services available, and I'm trying to find where is it, but there is like a massive thing. There's like a massive this is, besides getting books, right? You can also get a lot of this is what we give you for free, and you're already paying for it. So one thing, I don't know, I don't know how to find it, but I know it's here somewhere. But essentially, for example, the New York Times, right? So I'll just give you or like the Wall Street Journal. So New York Times, you go to New York Times, you want to read the news, right? And you're like, okay, how much does it cost? Subscribe for $1 a week. That's their entry thing, but it's like $6.25. You can read the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and a lot of other periodicals for free through your library, which is great. Library benefits, you already pay for it with your taxes, and you have a lot of cost-effective resources to kind of have things. Or Libby, for example, that's another one I personally use. So Libby is an app that essentially allows you to use the library and get audiobooks and get get audiobooks, get ebooks into your Kindle for, you know, a certain period of time, and you read them through your library. And yeah, you may have to wait a little bit, but you get to save some money. So again, it's just something that I personally highly recommend. Look at the resources that you already paid for with your taxes, with your, you know, whatever availability. And even if you're outside of the United States, you can also get some of these because there's some libraries that are international and have a lot of these resources. So make sure to look into it and save some money, because saving money and on things that you're already paying for through maybe like your taxes or like your library or some support that you already have, it's better than, you know, like having to pay for it out of your own pocket. Just a suggestion. Okay. Zozo, just traveled with the Cat S22 and it's so close to being perfect for me. It's so upsetting that it won't support Android Go. Had a hell of a time navigating from the tiny screen in the rental. Yeah. And you mean like maybe like Android Auto as well? Like, you know, it doesn't support some of that. Yeah, that's you know, that's something that does happen. Okay. Okay. Ali, did Mudita give up on the Mudita Pure? No. So last time I heard, they're trying to revive it as a Pure 2. But the Pure itself is probably, again, on that dormant mode that I mentioned with the Punkt MP02. It's kind of just like, it's there, but not really. So just a suggestion. Just, yeah, it's going to happen with that. Okay. Let's continue. Let's see. Are there any e-ink devices you recommend with WhatsApp and Maps? Hisense A9 doesn't work in my area. Good question. Okay, so two devices that are, well, one is the Mudita, right? So the Mudita is coming, the Mudita Compact. From what I heard and what I understand, don't quote me on this, but from what I heard and what I understand, the Compact will not have by default the ability to have, you know, like these apps, all of the apps. But because it's based on Android, you may be able to look into it and maybe you'll be able to sideload things. I don't know how restrictive they're going to be, but this is just something to maybe keep in your radar. Like, you know, keep it in your radar and see if they are going to allow maybe one app or two here and there. And then maybe they're going to block really, really distracting apps. The second recommendation is the Big Me Highbreak. So I have one. I'm actually giving it away on the giveaway, I believe. Yes, I believe I am. So I'm giving away the color version of the Big Me e-ink device. It works with WhatsApp and Google Maps, so you shouldn't have any issues. The coverage, if you're here in the United States, it's better than the Hisense A9, but not much better. So look at the bands maybe on this device, and maybe that's something that you can do. And if you're in the United States, you want to test it out, and you may win it if you go into my giveaway. Okay, so that's that. Last but not least, Big Me has said that they may release a further better e-ink smartphone coming up later this year. So again, something to just stay kind of tuned for it. Another recommendation, maybe like it's get one of these e-ink tablets or like something that has GPS or like offline GPS just to kind of find the navigation. So you can get, for example, the Big Me Highbreak, but use it as a tablet, right? And then you have a dumb phone for your like regular phone calls and whatever. If that works, you have a dual setup, something with e-ink for all of these things that you use, smart apps and stuff like that. And then you have a phone that is just simple with hotspot whenever you need to connect this to the internet. So just a suggestion, just something to consider. Okay. Next question. Hey, Jose, I just bought a phone with Kyocera, but soon after I watched your video about the WhatsApp incompatibility, I'm really sorry. Do you have a suggestion for a dumb phone around €100 with WhatsApp and Google Maps? Yes, good question. Let's go to a Dumbphone Finder, and let's go to the European version. I need to do a little bit of updating here. Let's go with Google Maps, and let's go with WhatsApp. Yes, and WhatsApp desktop, because that tells us that it's Android. Okay, perfect. So this is what I have for you. Cat S22 Flip. So that will be one option. Then you have the TT Phone 970. This one will not work by default with Google Maps, but it works with like Waze or with something like offline maps like organic maps. So you don't have Google Maps, you still have a serviceable maps option. Google Maps will load on the device, but it's not going to be the most reliable. Let me just say it like that. So it will load on the device, but because it does not have Google Play services, it's not going to be the most reliable unless you mod it and do like something like micro G and kind of like get your location through that. But it's going to have the ability to run Waze at the very least, more reliably than Google Maps. So Cat S22 Flip, TT Phone 970. These are a little harder to use, so I wouldn't, except the Xiaomi F21 Pro. So Xiaomi F21 Pro, excellent device as well. About 100 euros. So here 90, 79, 119. So in this corner right here, you probably can get it. Jelly 2. How much is the Jelly 2 now? Let's go to here. Jelly Star 205. I don't know where the Jelly 2. Let's see. Where is it landing? That could be another alternative, just a mini smartphone. Yeah, Jelly 2E, 129. I mean, I think that's probably, the cheapest that you're going to get it. And if you want to go better than Jelly 2E, definitely go for the Jelly Star. You'll be spending a little bit more, but it's going to be better. So those are my recommendations. TT Phone, Xiaomi, Cat S22. And if you want to swing it for like a mini smartphone, the Jelly 2 probably is your best option. Okay, cool. Oh, all right. I have 20 more minutes. Yes, 20 more minutes, guys. Maybe I can push it into a little bit more. So if you have any questions and we haven't touched on it, make sure to get them now. Okay, let's continue. Mickey, what phone would you suggest? I'm looking for preferably candy bar style phone that can run Android. If you are outside of the United States, the Xiaomi F21 is the phone I recommend. I have one here in the United States personally, but this phone cannot be configured anymore for the United States. If you get it, you can use it with T-Mobile very limitedly, but there used to be a batch out there in the ether that used to be sold with USA bands, but not anymore. It's not sold with that anymore, sadly. So, yeah. Highly recommend this. This or the Tech Mini M5, honorable mention. That one's a little bit more expensive. It's $300. But, yeah, if you want something that can run Android and is candy bar, Xiaomi F21 is where it's at. Oh, by the way, the Xiaomi F23 is coming out. But I don't know. Xiaomi F23 Pro. All right, let's see if it's already out. Somebody showed a Reddit about it. Xiaomi F23. I remember there was a post about it. Oh, there it is. Boom. So this is the Chin F23 Pro. It was shown in a video from the, actually, I believe it was kind of like the YouTube equivalent. Okay, there it is. And as you see, there are different devices being tested in there. So some of these devices probably will come out. I don't know when. I haven't been updated on that, but let's go to AliExpress. I don't know if they have been released already. I haven't checked Ali in a little bit. But the Xiaomi F23 Pro is probably going to be the next best, Okay. No pop-ups. Stop it. Chin F23 Pro. Maybe it's already out. Nope. There's no matches because it's still not released. Yeah, only the global version of the Xiaomi F21 is still out there. You can get the F22, but I highly recommend the F21. The F21 is still very good. So here are some of the upcoming devices. Again, we're still waiting on them to actually get out there and to be released. More details, but that's what we have so far. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Alexandru, Jose, what do you think of the Rabbit R1 or AI Pin Humane, the Humane AI Pin? Okay, so great question. And this goes back to my subscription rant. So Rabbit right? I do have a Rabbit R1. I still don't use it. I still think it's not prime time, not not ready. So the Rabbit R1 has gotten a lot of updates though. That's my thing. So they sell you the device. So they sold the device for $199, no subscription. And they have been continually, they created a community on Discord. They have been updating the community on the things that it can do. It can do weather now. So, like, for example, I'm able to get the weather. Does it work with the original things that they promised? Like, for example, um, ride share and food? No. Does it work with music? Yes, you can listen to your music and Spotify and that kind of stuff, right? This is something that they're planning, experimental, exploratory, right? So it's not the device that they showcased in January, but it has gotten a lot better. And over time, they have made a lot of progress. So I really like that. I really like companies that are not shying away from the community. They're updating the community constantly, and they're making continual upgrades. And they have made continual upgrades. On the other hand, Humane.ai, this is, oh, it's available, guys. Did I get it wrong? Like, Humane AI pin. I think that's probably like an amazing OS. I mean, that somebody has this and they're just trying to sell it. You know, like, I mean, humane.com/AI pin. So this is $699, way more than the like way more than the Rabbit R1. And guess what? It has a, where is it? Where's the subscription? $699. Let's just add it to bag, see if then it tells me check out. Oh, there it is. There it is. Haha. In black, very small black out there. Let's go over it. Wait, where is it? Okay. Where is it? Aha. Okay, the price of our AI pin co-play system starts at $699. AI pin requires, number one, this is the problem, requires an active subscription of $20, $24 a month, taxes and fees not included. Subscription automatically renews until canceled. For more information, review. It's very small. They don't even like put it in like big things, right? Here's the subscription, what's included: wireless service, cloud storage, AI services, and they have the billing cycle and stuff like that. Now, they have had a lot of updates. So a lot of updates have happened since they first released this device. Is it the best device out there? No, I didn't purchase it. I purchased a Rabbit R1 because, again, I like, you give me something, you promise something. Okay, you didn't deliver, that's fine. But I'm going to pay you one price and see if you deliver. And so far, it has gotten better, but I still don't use it because it's not really useful. I really foresee this being extremely useful if they end up delivering on their promise. So, for example, if they have the ability, as it says here, to do the travel thing, right? To do the ticketing and navigation, this is going to be my companion device. Absolutely. Love the idea. I'm really hoping that is the case. And I really hope that they continue to deliver. So those are my thoughts. I like that it's an independent device. It's, something that you can bring with you. And as long as you connect it to Wi-Fi or you connect your own SIM card, which is the best thing, right? Like, you connect your own SIM card, then I think that's actually going to be really good. And if they have ticketing, that sells me, because sometimes that's one of my biggest pain points when I'm with the light phone out and about and I need to do a QR ticket. Then I would just, boom, QR ticket. That's it. Get out of the way. Perfect. Okay. Next question. We have about 10 minutes left, guys. So let's go over 5 more minutes of questions, and then I'll showcase the T9 engine. I was able to turn this on, and this does not have the latest update, so I'll be able to showcase that. Okay. All right. Can the iPhone 3 would the iPhone 3 have Google or iCloud SIM for contacts, messages, calendars? So the iPhone 2 already has that. They have not sync, but you can do a one-time import of all of your Google contacts. It won't sync back and forth. It will just be like a one-time. Then you have the calendar for both Apple and Google. So they're both available already. So I assume the iPhone 3 will have those as well. QR code scan function or payment app. I don't know about that. Wallet, right? Food order support. I also don't know about that. I don't really think that that's in their priority list right now, as far as I know. But definitely the calendar and the contacts, they will have them. And then the QR, they have talked about it, like maybe having like something that reads a QR code or has something like that. Okay. Do you know anything similar to the Palm phone? Love small phones with the basic apps, but good battery life is rare. There was one that people told me about. It's this one. It's something like this. It's on AliExpress, but it's like something like this. It's like very small. Um, it's like yes, something like that. That's what. Is that what? Oh yes, mini phone. So yes, there it is. So yes, mini smartphone. There it is. That's the one. So they make different phones, but they have the mini phone. This is the closest that you will get to the this runs Android, and this is the closest that you will get to a mini smartphone that looks and feels. It's like a little bit slimmer. It's not like super great, but it's going to be the closest. The Soyuz S60 4G intelligent machine. That sounds so crazy, but yeah, that's probably the closest that you can get to a 4G LTE slim device from that looks like a Palm phone. So that'll be probably the closest. Okay. 3 more questions and we're going. Let's see. How do e-ink phones do with cameras? Can you actually see a picture in black and white? They have to upload it to a computer, tablet, to send a real pic. Honestly, it's not that bad. So when you take a picture, you can most likely reproduce it. So the Big Me was excellent on this front. I took the picture, and you were able to see most of its detail on the actual phone without having to put it into a computer. And it takes pretty good pictures. Actually, I was pretty impressed with the quality. Look at my review, and you can look at 3 pictures that I took, one of my dog and another 2 that I remember what they were for. So yeah, that's something that it's really good. All right, 2 more questions. Lakshya says, sir, why minimal phone not coming with online payment option like Google Pay? Is it an independent device? I don't know if they're going to have Google Pay. I know the device has NFC, but I'm pretty sure they still don't have a lot of the certifications. So because they don't have the certifications, then they cannot do a lot of the Google Pay things that they have to do. Eventually, I think they will have them, but as of now, probably don't. Okay, next question is, any basic phones that have radio bands for use in the US and international when traveling? Yes. So if we go here, there's a lot of phones that kind of like repeat their availability, both in the North American Dumbphone Finder and the European Dumbphone Finder. But something that I recommend is get the phone that works in the area that you're going to be the most in. So for example, Light Phone 3 is going to have multiple bands for multiple areas. The Punk MP02 is going to have multiple bands for multiple areas. Then phones that work limited in the United States but still have the ability to do that. For example, the Kyocera 903KC right here, Kyocera Digno 903KC, good phone. Then you have the Freetel. Let's go to 5 stars. Probably that'll be easier. And 4 stars. Yeah. Xiaomi F21 will work here in the United States very limitedly. Punk MP02 will work. Ghost Phone technically works because again it has it's based out of Pixel 5, not necessarily a dumb phone. Then you have Freetel Mode Retro 1. This device also has that availability with it's a flip phone, works in Europe, Asia, no problems, and then it also works here in America with T-Mobile. And Jelly mini smartphone also works with global compatibility pretty well. That's about it. That's all I have. Some recommendations for you. Do you review Energizer? Do you review the Energizer E241S phone? Yeah, I'm actually waiting for it to get here. It's been hard to get it, but I'm hoping to get it. It's a KaiOS device with a big battery, and I'm kind of excited to see how it performs. But hopefully, I'll get to it before it's too late, or they discontinue it and it's not relevant anymore for the audience. Okay, let's go over some comparisons of the T9 engine. This will be the last thing. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the old T9 engine message. So we're going to just type let's go over, change it to prediction. As you see how horrible that is. Now I have to go down and press. Then, actually, I would like to know how much. Okay, so let's see. We're starting at 155. So it's like, so quick. Let's see, quick. Great. Brown. All right. Fox. I didn't even get it right. Fox. Oh gosh. Oh, there it is. Ah, I lost it. You see how terrible this is? Fox. Gosh. Jumps over the lazy dog. That took me like 1 minute and something. Horrible. Okay, now let's go over the update. Where's my Kyocera? Oh, right here. Sorry. So that is this one, the old T9 version. Now let's look at the new T9 version. It's so much faster. Quick. Brown. I think I did it wrong. Brown. Yeah, there it is. Fox. Jump. Did the wrong one. Jumps over the lazy dog. That was what, like 30 seconds, 20 seconds? It's like 3 times as fast. So yeah, again, as you saw right there, like this T9 engine that they just released for the T9 engine that they just released for the Kyocera is like out of this world. It's super fast. It's very nice, and you can just navigate. So like, let's see, navigation. If I want to switch it, I just go to the 0 key, and then the 0 key navigates through the options, right? And I just press the space key with the pound key to go into the option that I need. And then, as you see right there, to do the Dumbphone serial and an agreement with the lazy dog days it's just super fast, right? So if you type something quite often and again and again and again, it's just like, it's just like something that I personally think it's just a better comparison. It's a better phone. I'm really glad that they have released the updates. And again, you can get one of those right here. They send me one to give to you guys and have that availability. So a lot of phones are going out. There's about 13 phones that are going out to lucky winners. So make sure to sign up for the giveaway. Okay. One more question from Pablo. And if you have any extra questions, make sure to put them out there. I'll be interacting with you guys. Again, I still look into all the comments and try to reply to as many of them as I can if I have the knowledge of how to reply. Pablo says, do you think an F21 Pro with Google services pre-installed by an AliExpress seller is safe enough to use banking apps? I wouldn't, personally. I just wouldn't. Why risk it? I'm not necessarily thinking that they have. So if you use something, I guess a tip would be to use something like NextDNS, right? That will block all traffic, all information shared. So if you go to NextDNS, so NextDNS is like a blocker essentially that you can configure all of your devices with. You can block ads, you can block services and websites and stuff like that, and put it on your device. So I highly recommend that you do that. Well, just in general, like, you know, just so you can block all the ads and block all the stuff that's tracking you, or most of it at least. So you could put that as a safety measure, but I wouldn't personally put my banking apps there. But if you have to, use something like NextDNS would be the way to do it. Another thing is that you could, if you get an F21, you could just reflash the system with the XDA Developers Guide. So if you look up on your search engine, I'm just gonna look it up on Google here, so it's easier. So it's XDA Developers F21 Pro. There's a lot of people that have made custom firmware that is, I would say, safer to use. And you kind of like just follow the tutorial and kind of reinstall the version of like Play Store and the version of Google and that kind of stuff on your own. I would say that is better in my opinion. But again, it's kind of like back and forth what you really want to do with your device. But if you follow the XDA guide and you're technical enough to do that, then it's probably something that I will probably consider over, like just using it blindly and not having any layer of protection. But if you want to have just at least one layer of protection, NextDNS is my personal DNS, the one that I use, and I have a firewall for the internet, for ads trackers, websites. You can also block other content that you may not want to partake of, so that's kind of just my recommendation. Holmes asks, any sliding QWERTY keyboard phones that are not the Hit K1? No, not at the moment. Sadly, not yet. We don't have any updates on that. Guys, it's been great. Ladies as well. Everyone watching, I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everything that you, have done for the community, and just watching the videos, supporting it, liking it, doing all that kind of stuff. It's great, and I really, really appreciate all that you guys do. I will now have to go, but I will see you in September. So in September, we'll get to it. Here's the giveaway link one more time. Thank you very much for liking the video, sharing it with your friends. If they have any questions and you can pinpoint something specific, I hope it helps. I have updated all the timestamps with the information that I know. I think the last timestamp was at around 1:55, 1 hour and 55 minutes, which was the Kyocera Comparison T9. And if you have any questions from now till then, you know how to contact me. You can send me an email. You can send a message. If you send a message via Reddit, Instagram, or all of the other profiles that I have to just do that kind of stuff, don't expect a reply from me from September 1 to September 10. Those 10 days have essentially been reserved for me to be offline. I'll be writing more about this in my newsletter. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter, Moving Offline, it's a Substack newsletter, and you can also get it in printed format. So if you want to get a printed format, but if you want to keep up with my writing, I do write here, and I'm probably going to publish by Friday an article that will talk about, hey, what's the challenge going to look like, how you can make a challenge for yourself or an idea for yourself that allows you to, create some of these boundaries for your life and create, things. The last topic I talked about was volunteer and digital minimalism. So if you're going to use your time, use it for something good and help people. So again, there's a lot of resources in there. I talked about a lot of different things. So make sure to look at them there. Again, thank you. Thank you for everything, guys. See you. And hopefully next time we'll have more to talk about, more devices coming out, and better digital minimalism, lifestyle, and just a lot of good stuff that will come up. Awesome.